Tiger Woods still not playing like his old self. WVTT's Derek Smith has more on the FedEx playoffs. Let's send it over to the Sports Corner.
Thank you, Miss Alexa. Always doing a great job on the news desk. Well, from the news desk to the sports desk, so to speak. Hello and welcome to today's Monday's edition of Sports. Coming out of the WVTT Sports Corner, I'm Derek Smith. First week of the FedEx playoffs goes to Nick Watney. He shot a 69 and finished the tournament at the 10 under spot, 3 better than Sergio Garcia. With the win, Watney takes over the top spot in the points standing. Tiger Woods shot a 76 and finished tied for 38th, not doing too well as he drops to 3rd in the standings. Well, continuing with golf, check this out. History was made yesterday in women's golf after a 15-year-old competitor became the youngest winner on the LPGA circuit. This is a video of the winner, Lydia Ko, currently the world's top-ranked female amateur golfer. Ko also became the tour's 5th ever amateur champion, the first since 1969. The South Korean-born New Zealander said she plans to remain an amateur for the time being. Well, the Panthers visiting the New York Jets. Mark Sanchez threw for 123 yards, but threw another interception. That led to a Cam Newton touchdown pass to Lewis Murphy. Tim Tebow didn't perform much better. He also threw an interception. Panthers win in this one 17-12. Jets still winless and have no score. Haven't scored an offensive touchdown this preseason. Buffalo starts off the season with the Jets. With the complicated quarterback situation, it'll be a great debut for both teams. It'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. Well, out of Buffalo, speaking of Buffalo, earlier this afternoon, backup quarterback Vince Young has been cut from the Buffalo Bills. As a result, an agreement has been made to incorporate Tavares Jackson through a trade that will rearrange Jackson's contract. It was $4 million, but will be reduced because it's out of the Bills' budget. Bills hoping to gain some of that versatility Jackson has to offer, who started 12 games with the Vikings in 2007. Well, that cuts it for sports today. No pun intended. Until tomorrow, have a wonderful Monday. Hope you enjoyed your first day of school if you went today. And this has been another edition of Sports out of the Sports Corner. Alexa?
Thank you, Derek. And if there's any news that you want us to cover, any events that you want us to be at, make sure you email us at news@colonial.cc or become a fan of our Facebook page or follow us on Twitter. We would love to hear from you. Legendary astronaut Neil Armstrong has died. His family says Armstrong died of complications from heart surgery. John Zarella has a story of Armstrong's amazing life and career.
Neil Armstrong was born on his grandparents' farm in Ohio in 1930, when air travel was still in its infancy and space travel was the stuff of science fiction. But Armstrong says he had the same dream over and over again. He was hovering above the ground by holding his breath. Armstrong took his first airplane ride when a Ford Trimotor, a plane called the Tin Goose, came to the local airfield. The bug had taken hold. As a teenager, he began taking flying lessons even before getting his driver's license. Armstrong pursued his passion and earned a degree in aeronautical engineering. He joined the military during the Korean War and flew 78 combat missions in Navy Panther jets. Later, Armstrong became a test pilot for the X-15, the rocket plane that laid the groundwork for space travel. It was some ride, soaring an amazing 40 miles above the Earth at 4,000 miles an hour. And then, in 1961, during the height of the Cold War, in the midst of the space race with the Soviet Union, President John Kennedy made a dramatic challenge.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
The next year, Armstrong joined the enormous undertaking and became an astronaut. 4 years later, he made his first journey into space as commander of the Gemini 8 mission, which nearly ended in disaster. Armstrong kept his cool and brought the spacecraft home safely after a thruster rocket malfunction. The next trip to space was on July 16, 1969. He and astronauts Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins blasted off in Apollo 11 on a journey of nearly 250,000 miles, a journey into history. It took them 4 days to reach their destination. The world watched and waited as the lunar module Eagle separated from the command module and began its descent. Then came the words from Armstrong.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
About 6.5 hours later, at 10:56 p.m. Eastern Time on July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong became the first person to set foot on the moon.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
He was followed by Aldrin. Armstrong was on the surface for 2 hours and 32 minutes, Aldrin just 15 minutes less. The two astronauts staked an American flag, scooped up moon rocks, and set up scientific experiments before returning to the main spacecraft. The three crewmates returned home to a hero's welcome, though none of them ever returned to space. Armstrong, seen on the left, was 38 when he made his historic landing. The first man on the moon left the astronaut corps the next year and taught engineering at the University of Cincinnati. He once joked, quote, "I am and ever will be a White Sox pocket protector, nerdy engineer." He was, of course, much, much more than that. He was also a husband and father of two, and a man who left his footprint forever on the U.S. space program. John Zarella, CNN, reporting.
Olean residents were also saddened to hear of the loss of Neil Armstrong. We actually sent a camera crew right outside our studios to ask people what their most memorable recollection was of the man on the moon.
It was just amazing what they had accomplished. After all the things they had to go through to get there. I think he was a Navy pilot or Air Force pilot.
I was at home watching it. I thought it was fascinating and I didn't want to miss it. I thought it was a great thing that NASA was able to accomplish, and I didn't want to miss it. I'm very proud of Neil Armstrong and what he's done, and I'm sorry that he passed away at such a young age.
I didn't understand at 10 years old, but yeah, I can say I can't remember. It was a long time ago. What a big deal.
Let's take a look now at our full weather forecast. Tonight's low is going to be 60 degrees. We are going to see some thunder showers, later on tonight. But tomorrow will be mostly sunny, a high of 77 degrees, a low of 51. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are going to be absolutely gorgeous, perfectly beautiful and sunny. The highs are going to be about mid-70s. We're going to see on Tuesday a high of 77, a low of 51. Wednesday a high of 75 and a low of 52. Thursday a high of 81, a low of 58. And Friday a high of 86 and a low of 62. So we're definitely going to see those temperatures creep back up into the 80s. We're going to have that last little bit of summer weather before we get to next week, where on Monday we're going to see some rain showers that are really going to cool things off. And it could be a little bit of Isaac coming up the East Coast. But that does it for our newscast tonight. From all of us here at News Channel 25 WVTT, I'm Alexa Olson. Thanks for watching and have a great night.